Today we're going to be talking about the album Ordo Ad Chao from the legendary Norwegian black metal band Mayhem. And to any hardcore Mayhem fans that may have found this video, I kind of just want to say to you that I am sorry, but I truly do think that this is their best album. I know that most people just really love their early work, and I love that stuff too, okay? But I also just really love this album. And I would even go as far as to say that this is not only my favorite Mayhem album, but it is also my favorite black metal album, period. The production on most black metal albums is intentionally scuffed, and this album is no exception to that. However, traditionally speaking, black metal is meant to sound very harsh and very cold. And with this album, Mayhem decided to go almost in the complete opposite direction of that. I would say Ordo Ad Chao has a very muddy sound to it. And instead of sounding cold, at least to me, it kind of sounds like these songs were maybe recorded in the furnaces of hell. And this is kind of the main reason that a lot of people are not really on board with this album, because the production choices are just not really in line with the traditional black metal status quo. Critics often dismiss this album for sounding like a collection of demos, which I do think is a fair criticism. It really does sound like a collection of demos in a way, but personally I really just love the sound of a demo recording. And I also just really like that they left a lot of this album sounding pretty much unmixed and very raw. The lyrics on this album are very apocalyptic, and actually I discovered this album back in 2012 when, a lot of people actually thought that our world was coming to an end. And so this album ended up being a pretty great companion piece for me as I considered, the possibility that maybe the Mayan calendar was correct and that we were all going to die. I actually listened to this album pretty much every single year on Halloween night. It has, it's just kind of become a tradition for me. And there was one year, and this was back when I was still living with my parents. There was one year where I had the house to myself on Halloween night. And this was a nice house, this was a nice house in the suburbs. So we did get a lot of kids coming to our place trick-or-treating and all that stuff. And on this one Halloween night, what I decided to do is I dropped some acid, and then I opened up all the windows in the house, and I turned off all the lights, and then I just played this album at full blast so that I could maybe scare some of the kids outside and maybe some of their parents too. Which in hindsight, it was not a very nice thing for me to do that, because obviously kids on Halloween night, they're just trying to have a good time. They're not actually trying to get scared. They're just trying to get some candy. And honestly, it wasn't even a good night for me either, because I don't even like psychedelics. I don't know why when I was younger I took so many psychedelics and I just never liked them. But that's what I did. I still think it's kind of a funny story. I would say the centerpiece of this album is the song Illuminate, Eliminate. And if you take anything away from this review, I just want you to listen to that one song, okay? And it is a 10-minute song, so if you don't like it, then you don't have to finish it. But I do think that it is, I think it's the piece de resistance on the album, and I also think that it is one of the greatest black metal songs ever written. And in closing, I will just say that if you have not had a black metal phase in your life as of yet, I would highly recommend it. And if you are a little bit of a sicko, like myself, you are going to also want to learn about the church burnings and the suicides and also the murders that all took place within the black metal community back in the 90s. Because for better or worse, all of that stuff does add some pretty great flavor text to the whole experience. It is also very sad, and I don't want to diminish that at all, because real people did die as a result of this black metal ethos that was just taken way too far, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't also kind of think it was fucking metal as fuck. I know it's not exactly the most festive Halloween album that I'm bringing you today, but I do think it still matches the spirit of this time of year pretty well, and it is a very special Halloween album to me personally, so that's why I felt like I wanted to share it, and that's really all I gotta say. I hope you all have a happy Halloween, and I will see you next time.